Hallo, mir nicht so gut. I think that was German, but Privet Katila, ja, не хорошо, because today there's a fly trying to genocide my ears at the moment. Sorry for anything in advance. There's a fly like buzzing around. I've been trying to kill it, but it's like has the has hearing of like the gods and all that. You think you could smash it, and then you're like a 6-inch away, and then as soon as you go in for the kill, fucking flies away. Fucking time traveler shit. So I'm gonna probably be flapping my arms trying to kill it. But anyway, besides that, and also, not only is there a fly, I am also in a new area. I'm actually halfway across the country. I'm starting college. Tomorrow's the grand old Michael, the grand old Duke, the grand old day, the grand old party. You know, I'm starting college tomorrow. Tomorrow's the first day of freshman year. So that's interesting. I'm waiting to join the Air Force. That's the main thing I'm trying to do. But life just keeps life just kind of throws things at you and just kind of have to roll the punches. I just was tired of waiting. I've been waiting since the beginning of this year to join the Air Force. Not waiting. I've been actively trying to join, but my recruiter is just slow as balls. So, yeah, he's just he's like this incompetent orangutan, so so I'm like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm going to do a semester in college. And I think it'll be a good experience either way. I'm planning on only doing a semester as I do that, and then hopefully I could enlist by Christmas. That's my hope, But anyway, enough about me. So that's why I'm in a new room. There's a fly. So sorry for anything in advance. This is actually kind of like a testing thing. And there's not going to be as much videos coming out, by the way. And this is going to probably be my least viewed video because it's probably going to be like taking a survey or some shit. I don't know. But anyway, and the reason why I'm calling that, because I'm taking an alternative political view study. It's made by this random guy. You could check out this channel, Liberty and Justice. A few of my, and so a lot of people on the NRX files, this is like, when my friend Endeavor posted it, he did a video on it, and I decided to make a video as well. So yeah, let's do it. Without further ado. So I just like taking quizzes. I like explaining myself better than actually, I guess, reacting to certain things. Like, let me tell you about anti-Semitism, or that's like the biggest thing right now because Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib got banned. But, I just, am I male, female, or other? I am other. No, I'm kidding. I'm just male. Am I under 18? I'm 18, between 18 and 24. I used to, I feel kind of official now. I used to put under 18 for everything, but 18 through 24 is the big thing. The big number. I feel kind of an adult now. I want to stay young. I want to stay, at this age. But I probably won't. Sad. So what religion do I most identify with? Roman Catholic? No. Well, yeah, I'm an atheist, sorry to say. In terms of God, in terms of the God that we know, the one that everyone, the theistic God, the one people worship and think it's real, I don't think there's a God there listening to us, listening to our prayers. I don't think there's some supernatural, all-powerful, all-knowing deity out there. And the way, way we could explain the world, how we got here, can be described we could explain how we got here. Now, we don't know all the answers. We don't know. The biggest thing is like, well, why did the inflation, it rapidly inflate in the beginning? The tiny, this minuscule point inflate very fast. Why did that happen? It expanded the Big Bang, So, we have a lot of questions, and just a matter of just exploring and diving in and all that. There's really no reason to have, so I just can't, I try, I just never, I just don't have a reason to. Now, saying that personally, I'm a very big believer in how religion can be used as a way to give meaning, purpose, and identity, and stuff like that. I know there's other ways to do it, but it's a very good thing, and I really appreciate I would consider myself a cultural Christian. I understand that Christianity is one of the biggest things in Western societies, at least in the society I live in. It's a big part of it, and I love Christmas. I love even though Christmas has become more materialistic and consumeristic, but I still kind of like the Easter and all the Christian churches. I can appreciate all that. So I kind of consider myself a cultural Christian. I know it's a bit of a cop-out, but I don't want to. I kind of say that because even though I'm an atheist personally, I don't want to say that. Oh, I don't. God is God is dead. God is You go through you go through that atheist that kind of atheist phase for like 2 years, and then you start kind of like, okay, because people kind of go through that phase, they just kind of feel like they know the entire world, logic and facts and shit. And then they just kind of realize that, oh yeah, then you just kind of become humbled again. You just become a normal person, and you're like, yeah, I just don't really pray. I don't go to church. That's really it. So yeah, I just, I don't have any. So I'm a cultural Christian, but I personally just don't really believe in God. But I kind of respect religion in a cultural and many other factors. I just don't think it really is a way to, if you want to explain the world, and I just can't really bring myself to believe in it, because I don't have evidence for it. And I'm majoring in a STEM, in a biology, so a bit of a problem. Anyway, so out of the following, which broad political category best describes your views? Well, so either conservative, paleo, social, liberal, national conservative, libertarian, third positionist, broadly right-winged, traditionalist, liberal, left socialist, broadly left-wing centrist. So here's the thing. I kind of consider myself I take picks and pockets of all this type of shit. I kind of, yeah. A lot of people say the right and the left don't. They're just, we have to go beyond right and left. But I think it could explain things because politics at the end of the day is philosophy. It's how you philosophically see the world. Like for example, libertarians, they are very anti. They think if people can't consent to it, then it's illegitimate. Now, if you don't believe that, then you're fundamentally. So if you want to use, say, taxpayer funds to fund libraries, well, those taxes go. People have to people have to pay taxes involuntarily. So people who don't want to pay for those libraries get their money taken and spent on libraries. They would say that's immoral, but you don't think it's immoral. Maybe you think just taxes are the justification for living in a civilized society, which is true. So it's so it comes at philosophy. That's why a lot of people scream at each other and just talk past each other, because we just fundamentally disagree of what we see in the world. And honestly, it's just a matter of changing how they philosophically see the world. As someone who's a nationalist, I would consider myself like, here's the thing. I consider myself like a national conservative. But the thing is though, there's a lot of I have worker sympathy. I'm kind of social democratic. I believe in the welfare state. I believe in Keynesian economics. And there's some things to be said about the Enlightenment. I'm not a total reactionary, but I think there's some things to be critical of the Enlightenment. I know this might make me a centrist, and actually a lot of my things, you guys see, my first political video is like alt-centrism, right? Because technically I go like some left-wing positions, some right-wing positions, and at the end of the day they can't decide who I am, so they just put me on centrist. So, but I'm not a centrist. I don't like moderate everything. I have some far-flung views, So because I am a nationalist, because if I had the biggest thing I advocate for is, because a lot of things that if I come down to it, I believe in nations, I believe in the hierarchy and strong in the family unit and stuff like that. And I'm not a big fan on cultural progress in terms of like, oh, transgender fucking, because there's this fundamental truths about the world, and there's I just kind of fundamentally believe in just, I don't really think, we should be all rah, democracy is the greatest thing ever. Democracy is needed in some cases, but not all. I think us pursuing equality as a false god, I don't believe in that. So, there's so many things. Like, I mean, what's a paleo-libertarian? Anyway, so I would say third position, because I'm not a right wing. Though I'll probably say I'm not a fascist. I don't really consider myself that. I'm maybe conservative, but like, the thing is, like, I just want that. If I gotta simplify my ideology, the biggest thing I would see is I want the self-determination of ethnic groups in this world to have their own states to live about their affairs. I want, let's say, Denmark to be the land of the Danes, where they speak Danish, they express their Danish culture and will. I'm not like some liberal nationalist who believes anyone can be Danish. There's a specific thing to it. And I'm not. The thing with national conservatives, they speak about controlling immigration and promoting the family and using economics to benefit the people. And that's something I all agree with, but it's like they wouldn't object. I'm more racially minded than a lot of people, So yeah, I'm kind of really racially minded. I would probably say mostly because nationalist and right wing social. I'm not socialist as in I believe in worker owns the means of production, but I kind of believe in right wing social democracy. It's kind of an oxymoron, but hey, it's kind of like I want a welfare state. I want the government to be providing and promoting healthy families and healthy, promoting workers. I could be able to live off a living, get a job and everything. And at the same time, I'm not some cosmopolitan cultural progressive. I'm not a global citizen. I'm a proud member of my nation, and I love my culture, my heritage, and all that. So I'm kind of, both. So I guess third position because it's like next. Because it's like the third, between the extremes, Not the extremes, just like between, left and, I'm some things on left wing, some things on right wing. I'll just say that. Out of the following, which prescribes your ideal economy? Laissez-faire, gay, regulated, state intervention. Yeah, that's fucking based. State-directed market economy. Maybe. I'm fine. Essentially, the thing with... Essentially, no. I believe I'm a capitalist. Post-industrial. That's kind of interesting. I would say regulated market economy. Ideally, in economics are they should serve our values. And I know that sounds gay and like, oh, we need to live with our values. Oh, ho, ho. That sounds like super like I'm not talking about anything. But economics aren't the market isn't just something we just bow down and worship like Ben Shapiro wants us to do. There is like yes, no. A lot of people say, a lot of libertarians, they're like, oh, the market is just, if you try to, what do they say? They're just like, it's if you try to regulate the market will just get destroyed and it will make us into a hellscape. That's not true. There's been there's a reason why we don't have child labor laws and we have minimum wage laws, and we are doing just fine. There are things we can do to make the economy serve us. Productivity's up, with all this globalization, with all this increase in productivity and efficiency in just mass production and just all that, despite all that, we're there's people who we're in the wealthiest society of our time, and yet there is a few things, it's not really that our economic system is not making us enough, plastic shoes, we're having plenty of shoes, but there's a feeling of their families are breaking apart. Drug addiction's on the rise, suicide's on the rise. There's a loss of meaning and purpose and identity in our lives. And economics should, the state should be gearing our economies to serve the state. By the state, I mean society, and the people in it. That's why I might be I might sound socialist, but it's just I still believe in private property. I still believe in people being I still believe in the classic like if you want to have a business and you want to hire people, I don't see anything that's not an exploitative thing in my mind. So that's just fundamental, and I reject the materialistic worldview of Marxist economics. They're like, oh, we'll eventually go to socialism. I just don't. That's not. From what I read, I don't think that's what we're advancing towards. But yeah, right now, I'm a capitalist, so I don't think there should be some sort of reorientation of the. But I do believe in like national industrial strategy, like 4 East Asian Tigers. I believe in, government investments in healthcare and infrastructure and education. But at the same time, I'm a capitalist. I believe people should be able to make a lot of money if they wish, but the government should, be sure to create a system where the economy serves the people, not we serve the market and we're at its will. So, yeah. How hopeful are you regarding the future? Honestly, the thing is though, not very hopeful. I think I hate to be black-pilled, but I believe that there's just so many factors that just if you look at the world where and yes, they're just the problems we face. There's like a lot of people are like, well, we live in the richest time in history. Why can't it be so bad? I mean, it might be even get better. It's just that it's not like it's not a crisis of need. It's a crisis of I guess just purpose. Like we're interconnected. We could talk to anyone across the globe. We could move anywhere. We could get anything we want essentially. And there's something missing. And I think there's some other underlying tragedies to our modern existence that we need to get rid of, basically fix. And but there's a lot. I don't think. And if you just look at demographic changes and the people the so-called right-wing populists that get elected, when they do get elected, they don't actually, it's like, oh, let's not take 1 million immigrants. We'll take only 500,000. Now that's good, but, it's they don't fundamentally understand that, if I was in, say, Hungary remains, belongs to the Hungarians, or Japan remains for the Japanese, or whatever. So, now I know those two states are actually still kind of trying to preserve their identity, but I'm just saying that as an example. But, there's some things to be black-pilled about, but, we will persevere. I have the biggest thing I say is that despite us becoming a smaller percentage of the population, in total numbers, like I think we're going to peak in 2020. It's like not 199 million non-Hispanic whites in the U.S., but and then it'll decline to like 160 or something million over the course of a few decades, like by the end of the century or something. But even then, that's still more white people than have ever been in the than the beginning of the United States. So I have a feeling that despite us losing there might be things that too, but I think we could persevere. I mean, if you just look at what our ancestors went through, there's nothing. I mean, we could do it. People have gone through harder stuff, and there's giant challenges of our time, but I'm confident that we could come over them. But it just seems like you're screaming all these things, and then people say it, but nothing gets done. So I'm not very hopeful, but I think there could be things that we could persevere. We could do it. We have to get rid of the mindset that we have to how do you say it? Yeah, we have to get rid of the mindset that oh, nothing's working, the democratic process is illegitimate, and we need to, because then you get people like the El Paso shooting and all that who don't see any way out. So we have to be very careful of inspiring sort of people who just being so black-pilled they think they have to just try to accelerate and all that, just try to destroy this entire thing. What is your favorite Western architectural era? I don't know what none of this means. I'm very I really hate. So I know for certain that I just absolutely despise just these everywhere I go, whatever. I live in America, so maybe I'm a bit and America has kind of built their cities when it was like the modern era, but like. It's just these like concrete glass boxes, and I know that's more efficient to make, but we're making a culture where how can I relate to that? It's a giant fucking glass dildo, essentially. That's what it is. It's just this glass monstrosity. I don't even know what to say to it. I can't connect. But whenever I look at countries that I don't like Italy, I'm not Italian at all, but I look at some peaceful village in Italy. And I'm like, oh wow, that looks so cool, that I could relate to that. I feel like a connection to it, and I just feel so at home. Like whenever I visit out in the country and there's more tranquil, more beauty and stuff, just more peaceful. Because I feel like the cities where they used to be all these wonderful architectural designs are now just they're just soulless monstrosities and all that. but in terms of like early, I think early modern, I just kind of it's a mixture between. I mean, I think all these are respectable, but I think this might be one of my favorite. They just the technologies where it doesn't become these, and also like postmodern, just like bibliotext or whatever. I think that's like those like I feel like people just don't know what to do and they're just creating random shit. You know, it's just like, let me make some crazy thing like I'm on acid. I'm like, well, you know, it's like me shooting paint. Like I try to like draw something, I just smear shit all over the paper, and then I try to interpret what that means. You know, it's better than the concrete boxes, that's for sure. But it's just, I don't know. There's no soul to it. I think early modern had more a soul to it. The best. Everything else is good too behind it, but I think it's the best. Accelerationism is we were talking about that. Accelerationism is the idea that negative economic or societal forces should be supported and sped up as a way to create the conditions for radical change. What is your position? The current situation is salvageable and acceleration is unnecessary. Pretty much the same. You know, the thing with this is that people are how do you say it? They're overly black-pilled. You know, people thinking that they could just, you know, we could overcome. Listen, we might have a lot of problems, climate change, you know, environmental degradation, the replacement of Europeans' peoples in their homelands. But, you know, people have were conquered and they were under subjugation for hundreds of years before they, you know, set it off. And you know, we just have to, the only thing we can do is honestly just keep pushing our message. We have to, you know, the best thing the alt-right or the dissident right or whatever has is the decentralization, just the pushing the message and pushing the Overton window. And honestly, that's the best thing we got. You know, it's just the pushing ideas that are taboo, a little bit, you know, edgy, and people are interested in them because they, you know, we're supposedly the most evil people in the world. So, you know, that's how we push it. You know, and there is things we can do. You know, we could get more farther ahead. You know, you actually, believe it or not, you actually do better sending memes than you do shooting things. That advances your interest better than doing some sort of violent act. Like, okay, think about it. Oh, I'm gonna go on a rage and kill a bunch of people. Okay, let's say you kill 10 people. What like, I have this same thing about, like, you know, we need to be able to use violence against the government and all that. I'm like, okay, what are you gonna do? Like, bomb a post office? Bomb, like, you know, like, what? Like, kill a few people? Like, what are you gonna achieve? Inspire terror? Like, yes. Then you're a terrorist, okay? You know, so, you know, it's so gay, and it's just, you know, like what? Like, it's like, you know, you're gonna trash a business out and, you know, firebomb, like, a police car? Like, what? You know, shoot a bunch of random strangers? You know, it's just, you know, I think accelerationism is a symptom of the disease, as I mentioned earlier, in the modern age where we're just kind of are losing that sense of, we have this black hole in our hearts and we just don't know where, we don't have a sense of purpose. We don't have a story, you know, and that's why people are trying to hash themselves to, you know, social progressivism, because they think they're fighting fascism and they're trying to fight, they're advancing the rights of people. That's their narrative. That's how they try to fill that meaning up. You know, and what we need to do as nationalists is inspire people to serve their country, to make families, you know, serve their communities, have purpose through a meaningful for traditions, customs, values, and, you know, maybe even religion. Maybe you know, we don't have to, but, you know, there's a lot of things on the table, and we have to reorientate our society towards more healthy ways that can make society even more productive, and just more whole, and it can fix a lot of the problems. Alright, and, you know, it's just, I think accelerationism is just like, oh, everything's going so shit, I just want to lash out. So no, it is. With regards to freedom of speech, your opinion is, freedom of speech is an inalienable human right and must not be infringed at all. Freedom of speech is generally a good thing, but there are limits. Free speech is a means to an end, not an end of itself. Free speech needs to be restrained. Well, this is already true. This and this could be true. Like, you know, if you're in my house, I could kick you out for speaking what I don't like. Like, if I own property, I could kick you out for not looking like me if I wanted, or if I just think you're ugly or whatever. You know, You know, I could kick out all the thoughts. You know, I could do that if I wanted. But yeah, freedom of speech is something that is inalienable human rights. You know, as someone who has been like all over the political spectrum, I understand the greatness of being able to see different points of view, and I think everyone comes to it in different ways. I understand people's like, well, we really just need to restrict people's messaging, but you know, then it'll be flipped back on you, you know, and it's, you know, because if you think you're, you know, okay, we'll just arrest people who are trying to undermine our societies. Well, you know, people think we're trying to undermine the liberal society, you know? So, you know, freedom of speech, it has to be something we, even for our worst enemies, I know it's like, well, our worst enemies don't want us to be, you know, to talk. Well, there's plenty of people who I don't, on the left, you know, they might be a minority, but I think that there's a plenty contingent that, even though they might hate us, I think they don't want the corporate power to be able to silence us. And, you know, you know, as I said before, the best thing we do is our freedom of speech. Because without us being able to spread ideas, you know, honestly, and if, you know, people are going to, you know, it's not like these ideas just go away. People then, without people being able to express their grievances, and politicians and the society trying to ratify it, try to explain either, well, let me try to say why your solutions to your problems are, here's a different solution, or try to, you know, then you just talk it out. Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could change my mind. But again, you know, it's the being able to express yourself that's important. That's how, you know, I just believe so. Alrighty. With regards to capital punishment, the death penalty, in what cases would you say that is permissible in? Well, okay, so criminal justice. I used to be extremely anti-death penalty. Until like maybe a year ago. I've kind of become the monster. I'm like, oh, you're just, people who want to kill people are just emotional. Yeah, I kind of see that. But here's the weird thing. So I support the death penalty for very, like, for very horrible people, but I don't support life in prison. I think the maximum you should be able to be set in prison is like 20 years, like something they do in Norway at 25 years or something. But that has to be contingent upon that the worst people of society can be executed. I understand the people are pretty mad. Like their biggest concern is that we might kill the innocent, but we're moving toward the direction of, you know, we're moving toward the direction of being better at it. And you're like, well, even we execute one. But here's the thing, you know, we see the stories. Someone who's innocent is in prison for 30 years, and then we finally let them out. I think that's a worse form of torture than just executing them. You know, yes, we killed the wrong man, but we held someone in a cage for 30 years. Can you imagine? You know, that 30 years. Imagine, like, you get caught up in that, and you're just sitting around in prison. I think that's worse than, you know. So that's the government illegally kidnapping someone, right? So, you know, I mean, I understand the concern, but I don't think that's enough to just dismiss it out of hand. And then, as just philosophically, the reason why I support him philosophically is that in criminal justice, I think the way they discuss it is between punishment and rehabilitation. Now, I believe in both. Now, a lot of things that are crimes today should not, you know, they should. I believe in the idea of change. I know people can change. I used to be, let's just say I wasn't like a gangbanger criminal, but, like, you know, I'm growing, I'm maturing, and I think that today I am better than I was a few years ago. You know, I've went through hell and back, and I've, you know, and then back again, and I've just, you know, I've done bad things, and I've overcame them, and I'm making myself a better person. I think people can change. But I think there are but I understand also, so I believe in the idea of rehabilitation for people, and some crimes should just not be crimes at all. But there are people in this world, people who are just so fundamentally bad and evil that it doesn't matter if they can change. Let's say someone, you know, kidnaps 3 girls and then tortures them, rapes them, and then flushes their remains down the toilet after he tortures them to death. You know, it doesn't matter if this man could be fixed. Oh, but just give him mental health care. he has mentally, well, he's just, he did a crime so horrible. The only punishment, I believe, is putting him to death. Now, I'm not someone who's like, yeah, torture him, make him suffer. People who have to like, explicitly, say, no, I want to really, this guy has to die. Look what horrible. Listen, I don't want them, let's say that criminal, that very violent criminal that I was talking about earlier, right? That what I was talking, I'm not doing it because I have some bloodlust. It's just that I think that the punishment fits the crime. I think certain people are just so, their crimes are so far gone that they're just they're too far gone. I mean, maybe, what maybe they could be fixed. It's just, you pass the line and you forfeit your life, and I think it's humane too. Hey, simply either put them to sleep or, give them a clean shot in the head with a firing squad. Don't torture them. Don't make them, give them the electric chair. It's like, people that do that are just a bunch of, I'm such a tough guy. Shut up, okay? You're just super gay and autistic. It's not bloodlust. It's just, I think it's just, hey, you did such a horrible crime that, execution is probably the justifiable thing for it. Now, the biggest question for me is, like, criminals who deserve to be in prison, but, maybe you could change. Like, I think it's possible if you murder someone to change. I don't think just because you murder someone, you should automatically be given the death penalty. I don't believe, like, just because you took a life, then you should be taken alive. I just think maybe, for example, maybe you got caught up in some things, but there's obviously violent people in this world, and there's some people who are just predisposed to violence. Now, can they be changed? Some people can, and I think there should be alternatives to incarceration for a lot of crimes, and I believe in the idea of change, but some people are so far gone that they just, they just deserve death, but effectively and humanely, okay? Just, that's kind of my point in capital punishment. Romantic relationships / marriages with members of a different ethnic racial groups are okay, regardless of the other person's race. Okay with members of only okay with members of the same ethnic. Okay. I think it's this. So I guess this is just interracial things. Honestly, there's obviously an agenda getting pushed, like in every single advertisement. There's people pushing and stuff like that. Honestly, I think most people would marry with and stay within their own race, and I think that should be the ones that's promoted. I don't think just because you marry someone outside your race, you should be shunned. But I think be gone, fly. Die Fliege ist nicht gut. The fly is not good. Yeah, it depends on whether or not you. Yeah, I think we should the society should promote same racial as like the normal and expected thing. But I don't think that just because you decide to date someone outside your race, you should be punished for it. To be quite honest. But I think obviously it should be discouraged. But like, I don't think it's like, oh yeah, you hooked up with a Hispanic person or an Asian person or something, I don't think that's just fundamentally like you did something so bad. I just think that, we should be promoting healthy, there's nothing wrong, and we should be promoting the idea that, and I mean, to me personally, I want my children to look like me. I want my children to live in a country that looks like them, and I want my children to experience, say, if I was, Dutch, if I was Dutch, I want my Dutch children to live in a Netherlands that looks Dutch, just my opinion, just what I want. That's personally. Now, in a broader moral sense, I just think you should prefer. I think I would recommend and should push, same racial relationships. But there's not. I wouldn't arrest anyone or stop anyone to be. But anyway, please choose when sex between consenting adults is acceptable and/or moral in all or almost all cases, even if the couple is unmarried. Accepted. So here's the thing. This is something I might. This is probably the ultimate like struggle of mine. I'm not saying I get laid. I don't, but I have this urge. Like I've always wanted to get Tinder, and I want to just hook up with all these girls, and it's one of the vices of mine. You might not, realize it, or it might not pick it up, but I'm just a very I really like, I don't know, I like sex. Or maybe it's just me being a 19-year-old teen. Maybe that's it. Maybe that might explain it. Maybe this is normal, but maybe it's, but I feel like it's more than usual. It's not just me like, oh, a girl's hot, ooh. But it's like, no, I want, like, I'm kind of, I like that. But, so if I say it's only, say, moral if it's, say, between marriage or something, I might be, like, I'm trying to fight it. It's not like I'm going to be hypocritical. I'm trying to fight it. It's just that, I guess in total, I think it's only acceptable if it's within, I don't think you have to wait till marriage, especially if, marriage these days are like, people used to be married when they got like, 18 or something. Now people get married when they're 30. So obviously, I don't think people should have to wait till then. Now, here's the thing though. We have to stop this hookup culture, this sexual culture that we got. I know I make dick jokes. I make sexual jokes. And honestly, it's just something I kind of do. But I'm just saying that there are negative consequences of this hookup culture that we have. It just demeans the true nature of the act, and it demeans, obviously the health, the STDs, just people are just their bodies are just being used as a bunch of and I think people are doing this because there's like some sort of empty hole in their heart. There's maybe they'll get a feeling off this. It's the same thing with drugs and all that. But my friend, having women sleep, you sleeping with a woman every other day is not gonna fix you. It's not. And obviously, I kind of live by the less you have, the more loving the nature of the act is. And that's if you have so much sex all the time, it kind of demeans. It just becomes this monotonous, just this. I don't know how to describe it. It just becomes this I'm not it just becomes this random motionless, you're just humping a bag of meat, and we need to bring back having sex as a sort of a way, a loving thing, and somewhere people could love themselves and not just have to feel like they have to be used. And but I'm not too prude. I've been struggling with sexual, I don't want to say I have a sex addiction, but I don't know, it's a problem of mine. I don't think you should be I think this hookup culture has a lot of negative consequences on our lives, but I don't think it should be restricted to just marriage. I think if in a loving relationship that's been a committed one, I don't really see a problem with doing it. I think even if I don't really object to people having sex outside marriage, I think just we need to be promoting a more healthy sexual lifestyle, in my opinion. And divorce. So my parents divorced when I was 12, I think. But I think it should only be in specific. Because here's the thing, you signed a contract, right? It's like, ooh, no, but, because nowadays people just sign, they're like, oh, this just means we really, 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 really love each other. That's all it means. And then we can just leave whenever we want to. Well, the point is to live through it thick and thin, That's the point. You'll have your ups and downs, but at the end of the day, you stay by your wife or you stay by your husband through it all. That's the point. But I think, like, for example, part of the marriage is, like, you have to treat your wife right. But if you're beating your wife up, obviously the wife should be able to leave, That, like, nullifies. But, because here's the thing. We can't have a no-fault divorce society, we have to, because that's the, marriage means something. It doesn't just mean, oh, we just, no, the purpose of marriage is to have a man with all the flaws and benefits of being a man, and a woman with all the flaws and benefits of being a woman. And when you put them together, they give the right type of support that is needed for children. And obviously the point of marriage, and what the government should be promoting, is children from this marriage. It's a loving thing shared between a special bond between those people. And they have an environment where they could grow children, where the father takes the masculine side and the mother gives the feminine side, and they both have they're compatible. The flaws are negated by their positives on the other. So obviously divorce shouldn't just be like, oh, we're having on tough times, I want to divorce you. And the government, and the amount of single parent house. That's why this has to kind of come with, obviously, people just get pregnant too. That's another unintended consequence of just having meaningless sex. You have a bunch of single mothers, and and if you just see the statistics on that, my God. Now, I grew up with my mom, and my dad didn't leave. I met with him during the summer and winter breaks, but honestly, so I'm not saying everyone who grows in a single, and maybe single mothers aren't intentionally doing this, and they have a tough job raising children, right? But I'm just saying that it's better to we need to be promoting healthy, stable families, because if you look at the evidence, people who are in single families and are more likely to be criminals, more likely to drop out of school, not do so well in college and in public school, are more likely to have like this antisocial mindset, more likely to be addicted to drugs, more likely to engage all these destructive activities. So we need to have less divorce. And I don't think it's just like once you marry, that's it, you can't divorce. But there should be very strict criteria before you can. Now, for adultery, I don't. It's like, oh, if someone cheats on you, because I think I wouldn't give a punishment for adultery, but there obviously has to be like, you can't be like married and then like cheat on your wife. That's just a scummy thing to do, and it's obviously, it shouldn't be allowed, because you signed a contract. This is your wife, this is your thing. This is your loving wife, and vice versa. This is your loving husband. You can't just cheat on them. That's why marriage is a very important thing. It should be important. Now, marriage is just a way to say we really, really love each other, and that's why gay marriage is not really a big thing. Because there's no way to counter that, because now from marriage being a religious from a religious way of promoting family making, it's now become just, oh, it's just we really love each other. Well, then why exclude gay people? So yeah, divorce has to be restricted, and obviously there should be more. Obviously, if your husband like beats you up, that's one thing, but there should be only very clear circumstances for divorce. But other than that, we should still stop this is in comparison with the sexual activity and all that. They should be able to be reduced. Please choose one of your pornography depicting should be. Oh, this. Yeah, this is something close to my heart. What's the options? Yeah, so this, I'm not just saying this because okay, so I'm going to be quite honest. So I'm going to be honest here. I have a pornography addiction. Now, I've been fighting it, and it is getting better. But porn is one of my strongest sins. It's something I've been struggling with for years. And it's like, oh, but what's so wrong with porn? It's creating a group of people, of these people who are, how do I explain it? It's very there's a if you want to look at the scientific facts of why porn is bad for you, there's something called what was it, like the brain on porn or something. There's a book on, they go into deep research on how it affects. It's like you're on cocaine. It's like it is really addictive. It makes you men should not be watching deprived act, because then that sets unrealistic expectations. It sets you don't go out actually finding true loving women. You see women as just sex objects, and you see women as just oh, I'm just, you know, it makes you just just people are just wanking all day, and they're just it makes you, it's just it's this exploitative, this unnatural, not unnatural, just a, damn, I'm trying to be going with my words, I'm trying to explain it, but it's one of my biggest vices, and I'm trying to explain it. It's just very and obviously we can't be arresting people for private consumption. I don't think if you wank, say, to a sexy picture, but I think obviously porn use is just something that's been pulling me back, and it's obviously at the very least, we should be pushing back on it. There's just been so many ill effects of porn. I've struggled with it. And it's honestly one of the worst things I wish I never saw it, but obviously we have to go, but I think that we should not be promoting it at the very least. But I think it should just be for private consumption, I think. But people there shouldn't be all those types of porn and all that. And obviously, I mean, I don't know it. At the very least, we should understand that it's a symptom of a wider problem in society. Just we're trying to maybe if we just it physically damages your social life, your loving life, your relationship life, hey, if you don't think hey, what's so wrong with me jerking off to porn? Well, try to hey, I challenge you, don't watch any porn for 1 week. Okay, try for 1 week or 2 weeks, and see if you can. And I bet you that you'll probably find it pretty hard now, won't you? So people are just addicted and they don't know it. They think, well, I just wank, and they're just staying in their rooms, and there's not, obviously, maybe you wank it, you find a hot picture and you want to wank it to her. I don't really see a problem with masturbation, but I think it's honorable to find, you want to be clean, you want to be whole, and you want to be a man that isn't bound to these addictions. I want to be a loving man. I want to treat women right, and things like that. But I'm kind of tripping over my words here, but pornography has definitely had a lot of ill effects on society. And especially on me, so it's pretty personal for me. Obviously, I don't think we should be having it illegal, because then obviously I'd be in jail, and I think everyone else would. But we should definitely try to be watching porn, and visit that Your Brain on Porn website, or I think it's a video. It explains it a lot better than I can. Global warming / climate change is the belief that over the last several hundred years there's been an unusually fast. So do you believe that global warming / climate change is real and primarily caused by humans, primary, natural, equal? This one. So I made a video called "The Right-Wing Case for Environmentalism," and essentially, the thing about it is that I'm a big environmentalist, to be quite honest. And yeah, so here's the thing. Here's how it works. We, because of the way we run our industrial society, pump greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These greenhouse gases, when the sun sends its lights, it's light, and it gets trapped, and it warms the temperature. That's why it's called global warming. The effects of a rapidly, unusually warm planet are the changes in the climate because of that increase in warming. That's what climate change is. And we're causing it. If you look at data from the CO2 in the atmosphere you see that it's shooting through the roof, and temperatures have been going up since we started our industrial society. There's all the evidence has pointed to that point. Now, even if you don't believe in it, we should be pursuing less, environmentally destructive methods. People have to stop seeing we're separate from nature. No, we are part of nature. It's if we just destroy everything, we could still outlive it. No, we're part of it. So, just all the evidence is there, and that's where it is. Honestly, we have to, it's one of the greatest, it's obviously, besides immigration and such, it's one of my second to third, most, dearest to my heart. It's environmentalism. I want to be able to live in harmony with nature and be able to see species that, and not have them, except not just in a textbook, but in the, in real life with my own eyes. I want to be able to breathe clean air and drink clean water. Sorry, there's a train. But yeah, so there's many I made a video on explaining why you should, as a right-wing person, embrace climate. Now I understand there's a lot of bad things, like people are trying to push climate change to have people stop having babies, even though Europeans need to have babies. Actually, I mean, I have a big thing. Yeah, we have to tell Africa to stop having babies. That's actually a big part. Overpopulation's like, oh, but we have so much resources. Yeah, but obviously we gotta be more efficient, but more people is a worse time, especially if you want to actually stop global warming. So yeah, but I know it's being pushed for an agenda, but is it real? Yes, it is real, and it is caused by us, and we need to get our act together. But obviously, we have to understand against the purposes of and we have to prevent the people from pushing it for their own agenda reasons. With regards to the creationism versus evolution debate, which position is closest to your own? Well, obviously I not believe in, just the facts lay out that we've evolved. One thing I kind of find in the right-wing sphere is a lot of people are, race realists and all that, and then they don't believe in evolution. So, so you believe that, so you're being like God created all humans equally, and then they just became different? Like, what do you mean? Because they use evolution and natural selection as like, oh, but here's why, people, Homo sapiens aren't all equal. They all have lived in different parts of all over the planet for tens of thousands of years, and maybe even 100,000 years. And you do think there's been small changes that affected them. I don't think that's too much. I mean, that's what I believe. And that's what the science shows. So, obviously, you have to believe in evolution, and obviously, I believe that's a natural process. I think, I don't really believe in God, but I think that's the theistic evolution. That's how if you do believe in God, just accept that that's just how God makes things. Don't try to deny science because it doesn't fit your worldview. Just say, hey, this is how this is what the evidence shows. Well, if I believe in God, because that's what God, that's God. It's based on faith. You have to believe in faith. So it's like, okay, well, we figured out that the way the world was, we came here, so evolution. Well, if I believe in God through faith, then that is how God made us. So, this is what you should, I have respect for people about this. Out of the following, which is the closest to your ideal health care system? Let's see the options. This is what we have now, and it's complete ass and so inefficient, and this is just completely immoral. Yeah, one of these top three. It's actually a mixture. It seems like the person who made this thinks single payer, because this is what single payer is. It's basic public coverage. Well, single payer is a singular insurance funded by the government, and then you could get supplemental health insurance to either pay for something that the government does not provide, or to pay off maybe the small fees that the government sets on, maybe if you want to get glasses, it costs $5 or something, right? Or you want to get a check-in, it costs, a few dollars, not like, oh, it costs $30. No, it costs maybe $1 or $2, maybe, whatever, whatever, so that's my ideal is that, so healthcare in America, at least, is completely it's like the most asinine thing I've ever seen. We spend about 18% of our GDP on healthcare, and that's twice than any other country does. Most countries have between 9 and 11%. Not only so we spend this asinine fortune on it. Not only is it hugely expensive, we get worse outcomes for it. People aren't as healthy. You think, okay, well, we spend more, but we're better at healthcare, right? No. Tens of millions are uninsured. They don't have any sort of health coverage. More are underinsured, where their health insurance is just inadequate because they can't afford any of the premiums or deductibles and copays and such. Some things are just they have this like complicated, convoluted network system where like, oh, you can't go to this hospital because it doesn't cover your insurance. Blah 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 bullshit. Here's the thing: single payer. everyone's provided with a basic healthcare coverage, and the government there's a singular government healthcare program, not like 5 or 6 that the government has right now, but just one. Everyone is covered by it, and you get a basic coverage, and you have the option with what, because here's the thing, this is what I'm single payer, but that's what single payer is, the third one, the one I just chose. It's honestly everyone has a basic. Now we could debate on what benefits the government will provide. For example, I disagree with Sanders' bill that covers illegal aliens, abortion, and everything is free. I think most things, some things can be free. I just think, there could be probably more. It doesn't have to be as expansive and comprehensive as Bernie's plan, but I do believe fundamentally that a lot of healthcare things should be free, cheap, and you could have health insurance if you so wish. But Kyle Kulinski, I don't agree with everything he says, but he's like, if you get sick, you get help. That just seems like, yeah, obviously, because the health insurance companies try to deny you healthcare everywhere they can, because if they have to actually pay for your healthcare, they lose money. So I typically think that there should be some private, if you want to go to a doctor that doesn't cover the 95% of Americans who will just have to rely on a single payer plan. If you want to go to an elite gold standard hospital, then, and pay an exorbitant amount, well, you could do that if you want. But I think, that should be an option. But I think the basic line should be that if you, need help, the government will pay for your healthcare. That should be it. It's more efficient, it's more effective, it's more moral. Just across the table, it's better in every single way. What's the next thing? It's taking a long ass time to load. Well, ain't that some shit? No internet. Well, ain't that some ass? Well, I am about to pee pee poo poo. Well, ain't that some shit? Oh, well, I might have fixed just now. Yeah, no, reload's fun. Retards. Okay. Well, I'll be right back. Well, hello again. So it's been like 5 minutes. I think finally figured things out, I think. So, yeah, that was gay. Yeah, my internet went kaput and decided to shit itself in bed. So I had to give it a bit of a, had to restart my computer, and now it's good. So I hope it goes well. I hope yeah. So we're back in the thing, and so yeah, it says, with regards to law-abiding citizens, firearms should be legal without restriction, legal with a ban of certain types of weapons. Only long guns and possession of firearms should not be legal at all. Well, here's the thing: you need to have firearms for. It's not the firearms itself. Now, obviously, and a lot of people say, well, more guns equals less crime. No, that's not true. But it's the responsible gun ownership that matters. I'm totally fine with people being able to own weapons and be able to even like a so-called assault weapons, which is actually even a thing, by the way, not a category. But I obviously, there should be background checks. I'm kind of in favor of a licensing system, so like you have to get like some sort of license and mental health screenings to get a gun, for certain guns, I think. But obviously, because if you look at who commits the gun crime in America, well, there's a reason why Vermont doesn't have a lot of gun crime, and Chicago does. I'm just saying. So it's totally dependent on gun culture. If you're a crime-infested, low-trust society, having guns around is not the good idea. And yes, if you have a gun, even in a high-trust society, it's more likely to get shot, just as, a society with a lot of alcohol has a lot of alcoholics, But, what's the price of being able to defend yourself and your property and your well-being and So I'm in favor of responsible gun use. I think we have to promote a better gun culture, to be quite honest. But I think because not without restriction, but I think, and not a ban on like assault weapons, but I think if you I don't think people should be able to have like rocket like tanks and stuff. But I think you should be able to own pretty much a lot of weaponry. We have to basically be promoting a society with people being able to use them responsibly, and there's basic regulations on when to get one. But I don't think that. But I totally believe in the right of people to be able to defend themselves with guns. It's just the matters of gun culture. There's a difference between El Salvador and Finland. They both have guns, but Finland doesn't have a lot of gun crime compared to El Salvador. So let's go next. I swear, if this goes to the pissy pants land again, it's gonna go to pissy pants land, ain't it? Oh no, never mind. Okay. Consumption of cannabis/marijuana by adults should be fully legal, decriminalized by. God, this is a. I want to say decriminalized, but I don't. Here's the thing, for weed, obviously here's what I'll state. Just because now, let me get on the back burner. I hate weed. In fact, I hate cigarettes and alcohol. I think all types of drugs are degenerate and destroy people. Just destroy societies, destroys the individual, destroys the communities. It's a curse. And I want to smoke weed. I want to fill that hole in my heart. How do I explain? It's just there's nothing. How do you say it? It's it's a completely destructive activity, and obviously I don't do it, and we should be not promoting it. But at the end of the day, smoking weed is not a thing that you should be thrown in jail for. For that reason, I'll have it legal. Just as but there should be societal pressures, societal policies to dissuade marijuana usage, like we do with alcohol. But we should obviously be discouraging alcohol usage as well. And in fact, I think I would rather have people be smoking than drinking, to be quite honest. I also don't like the culture around it as well. Drugs just are stupid. So yeah, I guess just legal. With regards to use of transhumanist technologies, such as genetic, which of the following is closest to your opinion? To medical, provide, yeah, this one. So here's the thing. There is something to be said about human beings, about society bringing about a society where there's people who will be so advanced that we'll lose our humanity, who we are. But there is something to be, I don't think there should be greatly restricted. I think, like for example, if someone's blind, there should be able to be places where you could get like an electronic eye where you could see 20/20 vision, or your baby's gonna be born with Down syndrome. Well, genetic engineering could get rid of that. I think that's totally legitimate. I think there are ways to improve our lives. The point of it, like modern society, like having moderate, regulating our, having technology today. Just as, for example, I wouldn't ban computers, despite most of my problems in life come from me being addicted to computers. But, I wouldn't ban computers. There has to be some sort of, we have to approach this very, very carefully, because this is going to fundamentally change humanity forever. And we have to approach it very, very cautiously. Obviously, I'm in favor of medical usage of it. I think there could be advanced, we could improve ourselves, but we have to understand that, for example, being able to have instant access to porn, just because that might be a fun thing now, that's not a good thing in the long term, So yeah, like that. Which of the following best describes your primary racial/ethnic background? White European. Have I ever suffered or been diagnosed with any of the following? Select all that apply. Diagnosed? I think I might have a few of these, to be quite honest. I'm not just self-diagnosing myself. I actually legitimately might have some of this, but I just never been diagnosed, so I'm just not gonna say anything. I'm a homemaker. No, I'm actually, no, I'm attending school. I wish I had something. I guess this is the end of it. The one thing I'll say though is you know, a lot of people have this emptiness in their hearts. You know, what I've been kind of saying throughout. What I mean by that is, what makes people get out of this moral nihilism? Moral nihilism is not a sustainable thought process. Yes, people go through it after going through some tough shit. I've went through it. But eventually, when you start going through life, you don't live like life has no meaning. You have to live for something. The way society, a lot of people don't know what to fight for. That's why they just, they're like, well, why should I care about global warming, or why should I care about demographic change when, just about the here and now? And that's why people do drugs. That's why they have sex all, every single day, trying to fill that empty hole. What we want, what I want at least in our society, is bring back that sense of purpose and identity. Bring back that. What we need to ensure for our future is a place they can call home, a place they can fight for, to believe in, to attach themselves and feel pride in. Understand that where they are now has come through the blood, sweat, and tears of countless people behind them. That this nation that they live in is a product of hundreds, thousands of years of ancestral development. And it is up to you to pick up the torch and make it the next generation better. It's there's a quote, forgive me for butchering it, but it's basically, societies thrive when fathers plant trees that they will never sit under. People, us fighting for a future for our kind, a future where people understand their heritage, and, we fight for the rights of peoples of European descent to live in their own homeland. We might not be able to live, we might have to fight decades to realize this. We might not be able to live in a country where we feel at home, where we could finally find truth within ourselves and grow. We might not be able to do that, but we damn well sure, maybe for our children, maybe not even our children, but down the line, we're fighting for something. We're fighting for our nation, for our heritage, for our children. That's just why family is important. This is why community is important, because that is, at the end of the day, this is why people fight and die in the trenches. This is why people fight and go through hell and high water. Anything worth a damn in life is made through a belief in something higher than yourself. Sometimes it's God. Sometimes, and what we're trying to do is this hole that we're left. We have no purpose in our civilization. Maybe it's, we're trying to fight fat. Maybe the purpose of our civilization is to be sure transgender people could cut their dicks off and go to the bathroom. Maybe that's the purpose of our civilization. We're in an identity crisis. We have to make sure that we need to create the societal support to not only make sure that the effects of globalization, of mass immigration, of this huge material abundance, this loss of identity, what we have to do is all these, of environmental destruction, of overpopulation, of everything, of, rise in technology and massive, where there's a huge elite and where they want to destroy. We have all these things that we need to face and fight, and we need to preserve it. We need to secure. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to get it, but that saying, obviously it's taboo to say, but kind of that same sympathetic notion. We have to fight for our thing greater than ourselves. We're not atomized individuals. We need to fight for our, that's, anything worth a damn in life. That is what life is about. It's about fighting for things greater than you. It's always that. It's always chasing things to make you and the things around you great. That is what it is. It's to fight for, because this country, this is my country. I know this country isn't just something I was lucky to come here. It is, this is not just some lucky thing. This was made from the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors. Our ancestors came and they built this land through just toils and sweat and blood and anything worth a damn is come through pain, suffering, and you have to embrace it. Embrace the pain. Embrace the suck. I know it sucks, but honestly, you just gotta keep fighting for what you believe is true, and that's what we need to fight and bring back the awareness of of racial, ethnic, just cultural consciousness. But you're not an atomized. You belong to a group. You have a family. Your community, your nation. There are things to fight for. And that's what we need to do. And in life, that's just honestly, that's just the greatest thing we can. That's once you know what you're fighting for, what you're living for, nothing can bring you down. You don't need to smoke or drink your problems away. You don't need, to try to like fuck every girl in sight and try to like find some sort of meaning through just having sex. You don't need to have, oh, I want to LARP as some sort of like Antifa member, and maybe I'm fighting fascism because that sounds cool. You don't need to be chasing false, ideas and and everything. You can be simple and content with the small things in life, with your family, and not just the small thing, just the little things and the simple pleasures, but the grandiose purpose of civilization, and understanding that it's up to us to make it better, to push it, to give a country, a society to our children that is better than what we found it. So yeah, I don't know what I'm getting around it. I'm just saying that we need to have bigger purposes in our civilization, I think. So yeah, what education? I graduated high school. I'm gonna start doing some college, I hope, but hopefully right now, as of this video, high school. So yeah. Yeah, that was a bit of a long rant. Well, not rant, I guess just telling people shit. Well, shit-a-doodle, cock-a-doodle, fuck. Fuck it. I was at the end of it anyway. They weren't asking me any questions. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna end here. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, favorite, subscribe if you guys enjoyed. Share it, and go to my Patreon if you really, really, really super duper loved it. And so aim high, wander on, from America with Russian love.